The thing I really love about video is that it's so malleable as far as how you can show it. So I never really have a set kind of installation or context in mind. Like the piece that's showing here, there's about 50 videos in that project, and they can all stand by themselves. And so if someone was interested in, say, like, showing one particular piece and looping it in a different kind of format, I would totally be, fine with that. And it's shown, up to like 6 or 7 channels, monitors and projections, or in this case, 3 monitors set up in a little more structured format. But, the idea is that it's just, these randomly playing images that are connected by their ridiculousness. It's not necessarily masochistic. It's normally in more of like a Three Stooges thing. So that if there's, there's a video where I get hit in the head with a bunch of different objects, it's very vaudeville. It's not, I'm not actually getting hurt, and it's not supposed to be about hurting myself. It's more about a video action as a metaphor, and so I'm really not interested in endurance or pushing my body to the limits or physically hurting myself. I'm more about just like a visual effect that an action can have, and sometimes that action is, it's physical comedy sometimes. This project is basically about 8 years worth of video footage. So some of it's on 8mm, some of it's on mini DV. Some of it is performances I videotaped and then never used or never edited. Some of the pieces are pulled from outtakes from those sorts of performances. Some of it's things caught on accident when the camera is on and you're, just those things that were totally and completely accidental. So it's sort of, I turned archaeologist for a few months and just combed through all of this old footage that I hadn't watched in a really long time. And I would say 85% of the footage I had completely forgotten existed. So it's almost like revisiting work you made but you didn't really make, and sort of taking things that you thought at the time was important and finding actually within that what has lasting power, and maybe it's only 10 seconds long. So it ends up being a looped piece or slowed down. Maybe there was a performance that you thought, oh, this is this great action, but it took like an hour and a half to do and map out on video, but it's totally boring to watch and nobody would sit through it. So that gets sped up by 500% and is like 2 minutes long, So it's basically made up of, unused footage, accidental performances, outtakes, misfires, and then just some things that I just hadn't ever really finished. There's a lot of fragments in there. So again, some of the stuff wouldn't really work very well on its own, but in the context of being surrounded by all this other ridiculous behavior, it makes sense. But I would have never, say, finished it and put it out into the world as a complete and finished thing on its own. There's a short video of a New York City beat cop who's twirling his baton in front of this Noguchi sculpture downtown, and that was just something I happened onto when I had my camera. And it was so beautiful the way he was just standing right in front of this giant red Noguchi cube. It was like a stage set. So, but again, this is, post 9/11, and, I know I need to go ask the policeman before I start just videotaping him. Having a video camera but downtown is, you just want to be careful. So, but he was really cooperative and very sweet, and it turns out he's a singer in a rock band, so the guy's a total exhibitionist. And I said, would you mind just doing what you were just doing for a while? And he just let me videotape him for like 30 minutes. So this, impulsively videotaping these different activities, like these absurd sort of little, again, just little ideas. Any idea that pops into your head, and you've got a video camera, and you can set it up in your apartment, and you can shoot this video, and then later you have to figure out how to make it watchable, or how to make it interesting. Just like any other artist drawing in their sketchbook, and how do you turn that into a painting, like blah blah blah. So the videos now are including that process in the finished result, so that there's the footage that you just shoot on the fly, you know, this ridiculous stuff, this crazy idea you have, and you do it, and then you have to sort of figure out what you were thinking about in the first place, and where you were wanting to go with it, and what you want to communicate, and then just being completely straightforward about that.